Was forced collectivization effective? Have you ever wondered how a major shift in farming practices could change an entire economy? Today, we are going to look at forced collectivization, a policy that aimed to reshape agriculture in the Soviet Union during the late 1920s and early 1930s. The goal was to transform individual peasant farms into large-scale collective farms, known as Kolkhozy. This was part of a broader socialist vision to create a productive agricultural system that could support rapid industrial growth. At its heart, forced collectivization sought to replace the capitalist agricultural model, where landowners exploited peasants. Instead, the plan was to establish a system based on collective ownership of land and production. The idea was that, by unifying agricultural efforts, the state could increase efficiency, mechanize farming, and ensure enough grain was produced to feed the population and fuel industry. However, the reality of forced collectivization was quite different. Many peasants were forced to give up their land and livestock, often facing harsh government pressure. The policy targeted kulaks, or wealthier peasants, who were seen as obstacles to progress. This led to widespread resistance and tragic consequences, including famine and millions of deaths, particularly in Ukraine during the early 1930s. Initially, agricultural output fell sharply, and it took nearly a decade for production to recover to pre-collectivization levels. From a socialist perspective, forced collectivization was viewed as a necessary step toward building a socialist economy. It aimed to dismantle the power of rural exploiters and modernize agriculture. The collective farms were expected to embody principles of cooperation and social ownership, ultimately leading to increased productivity and reduced rural poverty. In practical terms, forced collectivization did lay the groundwork for large-scale socialist agriculture. It allowed the state to mobilize resources and labor more effectively than individual farming could. Over time, collective farms adopted machinery and scientific farming techniques, which contributed to eventual growth in agricultural output and supported industrialization. In summary, forced collectivization had mixed results. It was effective in establishing a framework for socialist agriculture and aiding industrial goals. However, this came at a tremendous human and social cost, including famine and repression. While it represented a significant shift from capitalist to socialist agriculture, the harsh realities of its implementation cannot be overlooked.